Houston's mayor and lawmakers from both parties are urging the federal government to reconsider plans to end support for COVID-19 testing by the end of this month. That decision would impact 4 major sites in Harris County. Adam Bennett shows us how city leaders have a backup plan.
The federal government's support at these community-based testing sites was always supposed to be just a short-term plan. They'd already extended the deadline before, and this June 30th withdrawal date had been set since last month. But officials say that back then, there was no way to predict the record number of cases and hospitalizations that Texas is seeing now.
Houston and Texas cannot afford to slow down testing.
That's the message Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and 3 other congressional Democrats from Houston sent with this letter to the U.S. Surgeon General and the head of FEMA. Those lawmakers say removing supplies, money, and people from 4 testing sites in Harris County would be, quote, harmful and irresponsible. They want FEMA to stay through August. Houston's public health authority made the same plea in a letter to the Deputy Surgeon General. Today, Republican Senator John Cornyn of Texas told reporters, quote, I believe that they need to extend that federal support in Texas, at least until we get this most recent uptick in cases addressed. Mayor Sylvester Turner is vowing to keep both city sites open no matter what happens.
Very important. Just those 2 sites alone, over 60,000 people have been tested. And they are maxing out before noon every single day now. So they are hugely important. Now, we would love for FEMA to continue providing the resources and supporting those 2 sites. But if not, then the responsibility will fall on the city working in conjunction with the Texas Department of Emergency Management.
Health Department Director Stephen Williams says they're also talking with organizations on whether they'd be willing to take on some or all of the functions at those 2 sites. Now, if none of those options work out, Mayor Turner says they'll pull resources away from other testing sites like mobile sites. And we did reach out to FEMA. They referred us to the Department of Health and Human Services. We reached out to them this afternoon and are still waiting to hear back. Back to you.